The stellar cartography chamber aboard the Centaurian vessel, Dawn Seeker, hummed with activity as first observer Naira Voss studied the anomalous energy signature at the edge of the Helios Nebula. Her bioluminescent markings pulsed with curiosity as she manipulated the holographic display, focusing on what appeared to be a massive object drifting through the cosmic debris field. "Captain Theron," she called out, her voice carrying a hint of excitement. "I believe we found something significant." Captain Rael Theron, a veteran of the Centaurian exploration fleet, moved gracefully across the bridge on his gravitational stabilizers. His silver-scaled skin reflected the soft blue light of the ship's ambient illumination. "Show me," he commanded, positioning himself beside the observation platform. The hologram expanded, revealing the shadowy outline of what appeared to be a vessel of unprecedented size. Nearly 3 kilometers in length, its hull bore the scars of ancient battles and countless years adrift in space. But what caught their attention wasn't its size, it was the unmistakable signature of active quantum shielding, technology that shouldn't exist in this part of the galaxy. "Initial scans suggest human origin," Naira reported, her markings flickering with confusion. "But that's impossible. The human refugees we encountered 50 years ago barely had mastery of basic fusion technology. The humans they knew were scattered survivors, dwelling in modest colonies across the outer systems. Their arrival in Centaurian space had been marked by desperate pleas for sanctuary, their ships little more than cobbled-together transport vessels. The Centaurian Alliance had taken them in, viewing them as a primitive species in need of protection and guidance. "Security Chief Lysander," Theron called out. "Your assessment?" Lysander, a towering figure with cybernetic enhancements visible along his neck and temples, stepped forward. "The vessel's defensive systems are unlike anything in our database. If this is truly of human origin, we must re-evaluate everything we thought we knew about their species." As they debated their next move, the ship's sensors detected movement. The ancient vessel's exterior began to shift, layers of dormant armor plates realigning themselves. Streams of energy coursed through previously dark channels, and mysterious symbols began to glow along its hull. "By the stellar concordat," Naira whispered, her markings now pulsing rapidly. "It's awakening." Before they could react, a transmission cut through their communication system. The holographic display shifted, revealing the image of a human woman with striking features and an air of undeniable authority. Her uniform was adorned with insignias they didn't recognize, but the command presence she projected transcended any cultural barriers. "This is Admiral Rhianna Blackwood of the Earth Empire vessel Starweaver," the figure announced, her voice carrying both power and precision. "You have entered a restricted zone containing classified human military assets. State your identity and purpose immediately." The bridge crew froze. Earth Empire? The humans they knew had never mentioned an empire, let alone one capable of producing vessels of this magnitude. Captain Theron stepped forward, his diplomatic training taking over. "I am Captain Rael Theron of the Centaurian Alliance vessel Dawn Seeker. We mean no harm. We were unaware this region was restricted. Our records show no indication of human military presence in this sector." Admiral Blackwood's expression remained unchanged. "Your records are incomplete, Captain. This vessel has been in emergency stasis protocol for..." She paused, consulting something off-screen. "Approximately 12,000 years. Request update on current galactic political situation and status of Earth Empire Communications Network." 12,000 years. The implications were staggering. This ship predated the formation of the Centaurian Alliance itself. It had been drifting in space since before their civilization had achieved faster-than-light travel. "Admiral," Theron replied carefully, "I believe we have much to discuss. The political landscape has changed significantly since your ship entered stasis. The human refugees we've encountered have no knowledge of an Earth Empire." Something flickered across Admiral Blackwood's face, the first crack in her professional demeanor. Refugees? She questioned, her voice carrying a new edge. Explain. As Theron prepared to respond, the Starweaver's systems continued to power up. Massive weapon arrays emerged from hidden compartments, and energy readings exceeded anything their sensors could properly measure. The ship they had discovered wasn't just a relic, it was a sleeping giant awakening to a galaxy that had forgotten its existence. "Captain," Lysander interrupted urgently, "the vessel's quantum core is generating power readings that are off our scales. Whatever this ship is capable of, we're about to find out." Admiral Blackwood's image remained steady, but her eyes had hardened. "Captain Theron, I require immediate clarification on the status of Earth and its colonies. If you're telling me humanity has been reduced to refugees..." She left the sentence unfinished, but the implication was clear. The awakening of the Starweaver was about to reshape the galaxy's understanding of human civilization, and perhaps the balance of power itself. The tension aboard the Dawn Seeker mounted as Admiral Blackwood processed the information about humanity's current status. Through the holographic display, the crew watched as she accessed the Starweaver's historical archives, her expression growing darker with each passing moment. "According to our records," she began, her voice carrying centuries of buried history, "the Earth Empire spanned 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. We had established over 200 colony worlds, developed technology that could reshape planets, and maintained peace through a network of ships like the Starweaver." She paused, studying the Centaurian crew. "And you're telling me all of this was lost?" Captain Theron signaled First Observer Naira to share their historical data. "The humans we know arrived in our space 50 years ago in primitive vessels. They spoke of a homeworld rendered uninhabitable by natural disasters and spoke nothing of an empire. They've been living under our protection, adapting our technology to survive." The Admiral's laughter was sharp and bitter. "Natural disasters? No, Captain. What destroyed our civilization wasn't nature, it was betrayal." The holographic display split, showing historical footage that made the Centaurian crew step back in astonishment. Massive ships, similar to the Starweaver but bearing different markings, engaged in battles that distorted space itself. Weapons that could tear apart the fabric of reality, defenses that bent the laws of physics, and engines that left trails of altered time in their wake. "The Civil War," Blackwood continued, "began when the Preservation Coalition broke away from the Empire. They believed our technology had advanced too far, too fast. That humanity wasn't ready for the power we wielded. They wanted to strip away our achievements, return us to a simpler existence." Her eyes narrowed. "We never imagined they would succeed." Security Chief Lysander moved closer to the display, his cybernetic enhancement scanning and analyzing the footage. "These technological capabilities, they defy our current understanding of physics. If this is true, how could such knowledge be lost?" "Because the Preservation Coalition didn't just want to win the war," Blackwood replied. "They wanted to ensure humanity would never again reach such heights. They deployed quantum erasure weapons, devices designed to not just destroy our technology, but eliminate all knowledge of its existence from human consciousness." Naira's bioluminescent markings pulsed with shock. "That's impossible. You can't selectively erase knowledge from an entire species." "You can't, not with your current level of technology," Blackwood corrected. "But we had mastered manipulation of consciousness itself. The Coalition turned our own achievements against us. The Starweaver and ships like it were supposed to be humanity's insurance policy. We were placed in stasis, hidden throughout the galaxy, waiting for the right moment to restore what was lost." Captain Theron's mind raced with the implications. "Admiral, if what you're saying is true, then the humans living under our protection are descendants of the victors, those who chose to erase their own civilization's achievements." "Precisely," Blackwood confirmed. "And now they live as refugees, dependent on the charity of other species, unaware that their ancestors once ruled the stars." She straightened, her bearing becoming more formal. Captain Theron, I have a decision to make. The Starweaver's primary directive is to preserve and eventually restore humanity's legacy. But the galaxy we've awakened to is very different from the one we left behind. As if to emphasize her words, the massive ship continued its reactivation sequence. Sections of the hull transformed, revealing layers of technology that seemed to operate on principles the Centaurians couldn't comprehend. Energy patterns rippled through space around the vessel, suggesting capabilities that would revolutionize their understanding of physics. We're detecting multiple stasis pods powering up, Naira reported, her instruments struggling to analyze the readings. Life signs, thousands of them. My crew, Blackwood explained. 10,000 of the Empire's finest, preserved through the millennia. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, everyone needed to rebuild what was lost. She fixed Theron with an intense gaze. The question is, Captain, how will your alliance respond to this revelation? Will you help us restore humanity's true heritage, or will you stand with those who chose to keep them in chains of ignorance? Before Theron could respond, another alarm sounded on the Dawn Seeker's bridge. Multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel, Lysander announced. Centaurian vessels and human colonial ships. They must have detected our transmission signals. The next few moments would determine the course of galactic history. The truth about humanity's past was about to collide with its present, and the sleeping giant that was the Starweaver had finally awakened. As representatives of both the Forgotten Empire and the scattered refugees converged on their location, Captain Theron realized they were witnessing the beginning of a new era, one that would either heal ancient wounds or rekindle a war that had once brought an empire to its knees. The space around the Starweaver buzzed with activity as vessels from across the sector converged on their position. The massive warship dwarfed everything around it, its newly awakened systems casting strange shadows across the hulls of the approaching ships. Among the arriving vessels was the Horizon Breaker, carrying Director Julian Nash of the Human Colonial Administration. His weathered face appeared alongside Admiral Blackwood's in the shared holographic space of their impromptu conference. "This is impossible," Nash breathed, taking in the sight of the Starweaver. "Our entire history, everything we thought we knew, is a carefully constructed lie," Blackwood finished, her voice carrying no judgment, only sadness. "But now you're about to meet your true ancestors." The Starweaver's massive hangar doors were opening, revealing cavernous bays large enough to house entire colonial vessels. Within the depths of the ancient warship, thousands of stasis pods were completing their revival cycles. Scientists, engineers, and military personnel from humanity's golden age were awakening to a future they had never expected to face. First observer Naira's instruments detected something extraordinary. "Captain Theron, the Starweaver's quantum core, it's not just an energy source. It appears to be generating its own localized laws of physics." "Correct," a new voice joined their conversation. Dar. Indira Patel, the Starweaver's chief science officer, had joined Admiral Blackwood. Her dark eyes sparkled with an intelligence that seemed to pierce through the centuries. "What you're detecting is a quantum envelope, a field where we can selectively alter certain universal constants. It's how we achieved much of what you see." The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembled representatives. The implications were staggering, a civilization that could manipulate the fundamental laws of reality itself. "We need to approach this carefully," Captain Theron advised, noting the growing number of ships arriving in the sector. The power dynamics of the entire galaxy could shift in the next few hours. Director Nash's expression hardened. "You're assuming we want this knowledge restored. Our ancestors made their choice for a reason. This level of power, it nearly destroyed us once before. And now you speak exactly as they did," Admiral Blackwood responded, her voice tinged with frustration. "Tell me, Director Nash, are you proud of what humanity has become? Scattered refugees, dependent on the charity of others, when we once helped shape the very stars?" Before Nash could respond, Dr. Patel interrupted. "Admiral, we're detecting quantum signatures. 3 of them, closing fast." Her face paled slightly. "They match Preservation Coalition frequencies." "Impossible," Blackwood whispered, but the evidence was undeniable. 3 massive ships emerged from fold space, their designs as ancient and advanced as the Starweavers. They bore the distinctive markings of the Preservation Coalition. Humanity's ancient civil war was about to reignite. "This is Admiral Constance Reed of the Coalition vessel Eternal Vigil," a new voice cut through their communications. "Starweaver, power down your systems immediately. The decision made by our ancestors will be honored." The tension on every bridge reached a breaking point. The Centaurian vessels, caught between these awakening giants, maintained their positions as both human factions faced each other across the void. "You still don't understand what you did to us," Blackwood responded, her voice carrying the weight of 12,000 years. "You didn't preserve humanity, you crippled it. You took away our ability to grow, to reach our true potential." While the admirals confronted each other, Dr. Patel worked furiously at her station, analyzing the coalition vessels. "Their stasis systems must have activated when ours did," she reported. "Some kind of linked failsafe. Admiral, they have comparable numbers and technology." Captain Theron watched as the Starweaver's weapon systems activated, not in aggression, but in clear defensive readiness. The coalition ships responded in kind, their ancient weapons coming online for the first time in millennia. "Stop." Director Nash's voice cut through the tension. "Look at what's happening, we're about to repeat the same mistakes that destroyed our civilization in the first place." His words seemed to hang in the void between the ships. Admiral Blackwood and Admiral Reed stayed silent, their vessels poised on the edge of conflict. The fate of humanity's future once again balanced on a knife's edge. First Observer Naira suddenly straightened at her station. "Captain, I'm detecting more quantum signatures. Much larger than before." Her bioluminescent markings pulsed with alarm. 5, no, 7 new signatures. They're not coalition or empire. As if in response to her words, space itself seemed to tear open. Through the massive ruptures came ships that dwarfed even the Starweaver and the coalition vessels. Their designs were clearly human in origin, but evolved, advanced beyond even what the ancient enemies recognized. A new transmission reached every ship in the sector. "This is Grand Admiral Octavia Santos of the Stellar Concordat. To both Empire and Coalition vessels, stand down. We've been watching, waiting for this moment for 12,000 years. It's time for all of humanity's children to come home." The vast ships of the Stellar Concordat moved into position, their presence forcing both the Empire and Coalition vessels to reassess their tactical positions. Grand Admiral Santos's holographic image joined the others in their shared communication space, her silver-streaked hair and weathered features suggesting both wisdom and authority. "While you slept," Santos began, "a third path emerged. Those of us who remembered the truth but chose neither extreme. We've spent millennia preparing for this moment, watching over humanity's scattered children." Admiral Blackwood studied the new arrival with a mixture of suspicion and curiosity. "You claim to remember, yet you did nothing while our people lived as refugees?" "We did everything," Santos countered. "We guided their development, ensured they would survive, and most importantly, learned from the mistakes that tore our civilization apart." She gestured, and a flood of data streamed through their communication networks. "This is proof of who we are, and what we've achieved." Dr. Patel gasped as she analyzed the information. "Admiral, their technology, they've taken our foundations and evolved them. They found ways to harness quantum manipulation without the instabilities that plagued our systems." The Centaurian crew watched in fascination as the 3 human factions confronted their shared past. Captain Theron noticed something remarkable. the Concordat ships maintained a perfect defensive formation that somehow protected both the Empire and Coalition vessels from each other while simultaneously ensuring the safety of the gathered Centaurian fleet. "Your achievements are impressive," Admiral Reed of the Coalition acknowledged, "but they don't address the fundamental issue. Humanity wasn't ready for this level of power before, and unleashing it again could lead to catastrophe." "That's where you're wrong," Santos replied. "Look at what your descendants have accomplished under the guidance of the Centaurian Alliance. They've shown wisdom, restraint, and innovation, qualities our ancestors lacked. They're ready now, not to reclaim our past, but to build a better future." Director Nash stepped forward in the holographic space. "You've been watching us? Guiding us? Why reveal yourselves now?" "Because of them," Santos gestured toward the Centaurian ships. "Humanity's interaction with the Alliance proved what we had hoped, that our species could learn to coexist, to be part of something greater than ourselves. The Empire sought to rule the stars, the Coalition feared our own power, but you've shown there's another way." The Starweaver's quantum core pulsed, drawing everyone's attention. Admiral Blackwood's expression had changed, becoming more contemplative. "Our mission was to preserve humanity's legacy, to restore what was lost. But perhaps what was lost needed to change. What exactly are you proposing?" Reed demanded, though her tone had lost some of its earlier hostility. Grand Admiral Santos smiled. "Integration. Not just of our three factions, but with the galactic community. The Centaurian Alliance has proven themselves worthy partners. We can share our knowledge gradually, responsibly, working together to ensure it benefits all species." Captain Theron finally spoke up. "The Alliance would need assurances. The level of technology you possess could destabilize the entire galaxy if mishandled." "Which is exactly why we need your help," Santos replied. "Your people have demonstrated wisdom in how you guided humanity's refugees. We're not offering to simply hand over advanced technology, we're proposing a partnership." Dr. Patel's voice carried renewed excitement. "The possibilities are extraordinary. The Concordat's advances in quantum manipulation, combined with Centaurian expertise in biological sciences, we could solve problems that have plagued both our species for generations." The gathered representatives watched as Santos transmitted more data, detailed proposals for integration, technological exchange programs, and safety protocols that would ensure responsible development. The Concordat had clearly spent centuries planning for this moment. "This isn't just about technology," Santos continued. "It's about healing old wounds. The Empire's drive for advancement, the Coalition's concern for wisdom and restraint, the Concordat's balanced approach, all these perspectives have value. Together, we can build something greater than any of our ancestors imagined." Admiral Reed's hologram shifted slightly. The Coalition ships were placed in stasis to prevent the Empire from gaining too much power. "But perhaps we were preserved to witness this moment instead. To see that there is another way." "And the Empire?" Blackwood asked, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. "What becomes of our mission?" "Your mission was to preserve humanity's legacy," Santos reminded her. "Look around you, humanity has not only survived but thrived in ways our ancestors never imagined. They've made allies, built trust, and earned their place among the stars. Isn't that the greatest legacy we could hope for?" The quantum cores of all three ancient human fleets pulsed in harmony, as if acknowledging the gravity of the moment. The gathered ships of the Centaurian Alliance held their positions, witnessing what could be the beginning of a new era in galactic history. 2 months after the historic encounter, the space around the Centaurian homeworld Lumaria bustled with unprecedented activity. The Starweaver and its Coalition counterparts had taken up orbital positions alongside the Concordat vessels, their quantum cores working in harmony to create a stable research zone where the laws of physics could be safely manipulated. In the central conference chamber of the newly established Unity Station, Captain Theron watched as teams of human and Centaurian scientists collaborated on projects that would have seemed impossible mere months ago. Dr. Patel worked alongside Naira, their combined expertise helping bridge the gap between ancient human knowledge and modern Centaurian innovation. Remarkable, isn't it? Admiral Blackwood approached, her uniform now bearing both Empire and Alliance insignias. When we entered stasis, I never imagined our awakening would lead to this. The chamber's observation windows offered a spectacular view of a demonstration taking place in the research zone. A small vessel, jointly designed by all factions, navigated through locally altered spacetime, testing theories that would revolutionize interstellar travel. The integration teams are exceeding all expectations, Director Nash reported, joining them at the window. The refugee colonies have accepted the truth about their heritage with surprising resilience. Having the Concordat's guidance has made the transition much smoother than we feared. Admiral Reed entered the chamber, accompanied by Grand Admiral Santos. The former adversaries now work together on the Integration Council, ensuring that humanity's advanced technology was reintroduced at a pace that wouldn't destabilize the galaxy. The latest surveys are promising, Reed announced. The quantum erasure effects are gradually dissipating in the human populations. As their neural pathways realign, they're able to comprehend and work with increasingly advanced concepts. Santos nodded in agreement. But more importantly, they're doing so with wisdom and restraint. The Centaurian influence has proved invaluable, their perspective helps prevent us from repeating past mistakes. A soft chime interrupted their discussion as new data streamed in from the research zone. Dar. Patel's excitement was evident even through the holographic display. The hybrid quantum core design works. We've successfully merged Concordat stability protocols with Empire power generation and Coalition safety measures. The Centaurian bioneural interfaces make it all work together seamlessly. Security Chief Lysander, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke. We're detecting similar breakthroughs across all research teams. The combination of different human approaches with Centaurian methodology is producing results that neither civilization could have achieved alone. Outside the station, the massive forms of Empire, Coalition, and Concordat ships cast ever-changing shadows on Lemuria's surface. But unlike 2 months ago, their presence no longer sparked fear or tension. Instead, they stood as symbols of a new era of cooperation. There's something poetic about this, Theron observed. Your civilization split apart because you couldn't agree on how to handle your advancement. Now, those very differences are becoming your greatest strength. Unity through diversity, Santos agreed. The Empire's drive for progress, the Coalition's emphasis on responsibility, the Concordat's balanced approach, and the Alliance's wisdom, together, we're building something entirely new. A junior officer rushed into the chamber, their expression bright with excitement. The first integrated colony ship is ready for inspection. Well, you need to see this for yourselves. They made their way to the construction docks, where a sleek vessel awaited. Its design incorporated elements from all 4 civilizations, the powerful quantum core of the Empire, the safety systems of the Coalition, the evolved technology of the Concordat, and the organic aesthetics of the Centaurian Alliance. The Dawn Seeker 2, Blackwood read the name painted on its hull. A fitting tribute to the ship that helped bring us all together. She'll be the first of many, Nash added. A symbol of what we can achieve when we move forward together. As they toured the new vessel, Theron reflected on how much had changed. The galaxy had awakened to find humanity's ancient giants in its midst, but instead of the catastrophe many had feared, they discovered something unexpected, hope. The scattered children of Earth and their Centaurian allies had proven that the mistakes of the past need not dictate the future. The quantum cores of all 3 ancient fleets pulsed one final time in unison, but this time it wasn't in preparation for war. Instead, they served as beacons, lighting the way forward into a future where the combined wisdom of multiple civilizations would guide their journey among the stars. The next great adventure begins, Santos declared, looking out at the assembled ships of 4 civilizations working as one. And this time, we face it together.